Because I found that betterment, that growth is actually not this kind of linear or exponential curve. Instead, it's this almost leapfrog pattern.
Yeah.
Where
Sure.
we're almost like jumping over time, right? And you go up and then you go down a little bit, but your new normal is higher.
That's right.
And that's a matter of physiology and self-identity and also embedded habits.
Welcome. Today's guest is Jonathan Goodman, author of the book In My Hand, this book right here, The Obvious Choice. He's also the founder of QuickCoach.Fit and the Personal Trainer Development Center, a go-to resource for fitness professionals around the world. I personally first discovered Jonathan shortly after opening my gym. I listened to his book with my wife on a travel trip, and we were in the car for hours.
So romantic.
And we listened
romantic. Did you hold hands?
And we did. Yeah. We always hold hands when we drive. The Wealthy Fit Pro's Guide to Getting Clients and Referrals. It was great.
Beautiful with romantic car trip book. That's what I wrote for.
She still remembers. Yeah. She still remembers this drive. We don't even know where we went, but she remembers the drive. With 11 books published, 17 years in the fitness industry, and over 250,000 educational resources sold, John is a true leader in helping coaches build better businesses and real people build stronger lives. He's also a husband and a proud dad of 2 boys, and I just learned, because she's like 6 weeks old now, a little precious baby girl. If you're a stressed out coach or fitness pro burning the candle at both ends, this episode is for you. And welcome. Are you getting any sleep?
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. We've got a lot of support, community support.
Okay.
We've got a lot of, stuff like we hired a professional chef a couple days a week. So the bit longer story is my neighbor down the street plays for the Toronto Raptors and is an NBA player. Okay. And so we're good friends with them. He has a chef, as NBA players do. And he's out of town now for the summer, back at home in Louisiana. And so his chef was available. So we're like, all right, we'll take your chef for a couple days a week. We have a night doula, we've got my parents live around the corner. We've got incredible, just the most incredible local community friends. We've invested tremendous amounts of time and effort into it. So, we're doing good. And also, it's our 3rd kid. We're in so deep at this point. Just add more. It doesn't matter. Now, we're fine. Some nights are a little bit rough, but we're doing pretty good.
Okay, good. I have 3 kids myself, and we try not to say out loud that we, but we don't care. All these things that we cared about with the first one in particular, we've really let go.
Oh, dude.
With the second one.
My mantra is, who can I pay to make this go away?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
just the amount of things you cease to give a shit about, the more children you have. It's almost like a sliding scale.
Correct.
It's just oh, this doesn't matter anymore. Oh, this doesn't. Oh, I don't need to answer that. It forces this level of prioritization and focus in all elements of life. I've thought about this a lot professionally. You look at a lot of the top business leaders and stuff like that. And one of the things that's interesting, not the dudes spouting business advice on the internet, the real business leaders, right? Almost every single one of them has a well-developed family. And I've thought about that a lot. And I think just simply law of averages, most grown men, have families. Yeah. So there's some of that. But I think also, interestingly, a family is a very powerful constraint that forces you to focus and prioritize in a way that otherwise might not happen. Yeah. Which makes you much better at choosing what to do and actually makes you more effective as a human, but also as a business person. I've actually feel like I've became a better business person with every child that I've had, because it's forced me to eliminate all the stuff that I maybe was doing previously, but now know that I won't have time or attention or energy for. And it's been a really powerful constraint, in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that. In the past, before kids, or someone who doesn't have kids may spend this weekend working, doing this or that. Well, my 9-year-old's going to be in the Little Nemo play for 3 performances this weekend. So my Friday night, my Saturday afternoon, my Saturday night, and then we're celebrating it on Sunday, right? That's how I'm spending my weekend.
Well, you want to know something interesting? I learned this about Nemo. You know what? The single most effective environmental, what was the term? The single most effective environmental, positive for environmental awareness was? It was Little Nemo.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all.
It was Little Nemo.
Yeah.
And it's all of these people who are working for the UN, all of these people who are working for all of these environmental agencies really should actually get into entertainment if they want to make an impact.
Oh, sure.
It's fascinating. So what is your little one Nemo? What character are they?
Now we're getting into the depths of what happens, when you're raising the third, because she sees the two older be successful, but she doesn't see them working super hard all the years in front to be successful. And now she's like, oh no, my job is to show up, be the star of the show, and everyone, worships me. And it's like, we need to, let's work on those voice lessons. Let's work on those memorization lessons, that kind of stuff. So she's in the back, but she's in not the audience, but it'll come to me like 3 days from now, but she's in the front row. She's not a lead. She only has a small part, but she's in the front row. And so she can't really make mistakes. And so we've been working on that. Yeah. Yeah. It's a growth opportunity for us. So we're looking forward to that.
But to your point, I mean, you're right. So this weekend, you don't have the option to work about things that you don't really know what they are yet, but you figure you may as well work because you have a lot of time to do it, and what the hell else are you going to do?
That's exactly right.
And so you're forced to think, hey, what are the most important things for me to do before I can't do any of that this weekend?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good thing, I think.
Yeah. That helps keep us focused on the important things, in my opinion, right? Mm-hmm. So if we kind of take that line of thought, my conversations in particular are about busy people, successful people, and them staying fit, staying physically active, because living a short, hard life is not what we want, right? We want to live longer. we want to be active. We don't just want to extend our lifespan, but we want to extend our health span, right? We want to be active into our 80s and 90s. So what do you do? I mean, while you're growing this massive business of yours, what are you doing to stay fit?
Well, so it's interesting because what I've realized over the years is that why we start doing a thing is never why we continue doing a thing.
Yeah.
So my reasons for fitness have changed over the years. Why did I start when I was 15? Like teenage hormones, Yeah. I wanted to feel like I looked good because I thought the girls cared about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I realized later on.
One word, girls.
Right, but it's dumb. I mean, it took me 10 years to figure this out, that girls don't actually care about big muscles, but guys think because they're dumb that girls care about big muscles. Yeah. And what girls do care about is confidence. And because guys are stupid and think that girls like big muscles, they actually get more confidence, which in a very roundabout way means that dumb teenage guys getting muscles actually does get girls, but not for the reason that they think. It took me a decade to figure that out. But
that's most of life. That's most of life, is where you're connecting dots A and B and realizing, oh yeah, that is not how it actually works.
It's not how it works. So I mean, it started that, and then I continued largely because I just feel like it made me feel better. I wouldn't say mental health. I think that I never had serious mental health. I just felt better. Like days that I worked out, I felt better and thought better than days I didn't work out. So I like to work out. And then as I got to be really to be honest, 35, I'm 39. In around 35, I started noticing this really scary divide where people who I knew, friends of mine who were active. I don't care if you're pumping weights, but we're active, right? Okay. Seem to almost be reversing the aging process in a way. Yeah. Like they weren't getting really sick as much. They were actually doing better in their careers as a whole, not across the board, but in almost every case. And then the folks who were never active, I was like, yo, you look like you aged 20 years. Yeah. It was wild how quick that hit. And that divide just seems to be widening. So that was motivation for a couple years. My motivation now is actually different. Most of the work that I do now is creative work. 90% of my time is writing. And I have found that exhausting the body is a wonderful way to energize the mind. Okay. And so in order for me, Jerry Seinfeld says you got to put the ox in the plow and make it do work. In order for me to actually get my mind to relax and calm all of the anxiety and dumb stuff that it would naturally do and think about, I actually need to physically exhaust myself. And there's benefits to that too, in that creative work, sitting for a long period of time, can be physically taxing. Yeah. It can be hard on the back and the shoulders and the neck. And also, just being in this position, I don't want my body to feel tired, and so I need to keep it strong in order to continue doing the creative work that I want to continue to be doing into my 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, hopefully. That's what's kept me going, to be honest. But in saying that, you ever heard of Aristotle's golden mean?
Okay.
You ever heard of this philosophy?
Maybe not.
So Aristotle's golden mean effectively philosophizes that of anything that matters, there is an element of too much. And so there's a golden mean. There's a golden point where actually, not doing any of it obviously is not good, but doing too much of it is also not good. And with fitness, I've come to accept that, for me at least, there is very much a golden mean of exercise, of fitness. Like if I work out too hard.
Yep.
Not just the time it's going to take. I don't really want to be sore. Like, I got young kids. Like, I don't want to be groaning, like getting up with my legs sore.
Yep.
I certainly don't want to snap my shit up. Like, if that means that I'm going to leave 2 reps in the hole and never go at 100% or even 90% on a lift, then that's worth it for me. I understand the trade-off that I will not have as much muscle as I might have otherwise had, but I'm not willing to accept any amount of risk of injury.
Yep.
And if I train too hard, my brain doesn't think too good.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's this really interesting kind of middle ground that I found, and I've had to accept the trade-off.
Okay.
With fitness over the years based off of what I want to get out of it now.
Sure. Yeah, most of the people that I train, we're looking at general overall physical preparedness. And one of my rules is I want you to, in this workout, I want you to work out as hard as you can, but with this caveat. The caveat is you have to guarantee that you can come back tomorrow. So if you start, if we're doing sumo deadlifts, which is what we did yesterday, if we start reaching a weight where you're like, I don't know, then we're not going to do it. Right? It's not worth it. If our goal is general physical preparedness, living long life, increasing our health span, injury is not going to help with that. And so not going for that 1 rep max today, that's a good idea, right? If we're not feeling it, that's fine. Same as if we're pushing ourselves too hard in a Metcon, what most people call the workout, hey, it's okay to back off and not make it under the time cap, right? No throwing up. Like, that is not what we're doing here.
Right. I don't want you to be so plastered that I'm dragging you off the floor at the end of this, and then you got to somehow get to work for the rest of the day.
You have a life. This workout is 1 hour. I want to make it the best hour of your day, but you're going to leave here and you're either going to work or going to be an active member of your family.
Yeah. It was fascinating. So I went to this event like 2 years ago, this sort of high-end event of business owners, and there was about 150, 160 people. And like all were multimillionaires, like there was like a base requirements, right? And all were successful. I mean, everything up to, there was a couple $1 billion business owners, like really very nice class. And 2 things were interesting to me when I looked around at it. And these were not fitness people. Like there was a couple people from the fitness world, but it was all like one dude owned a mushroom farm, like all over the place.
Okay.
Fascinating guy, actually. He employed like 85% of his town on his like mushroom farm. Anyway, the point is, not a single person was noticeably overweight.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is not a single person was noticeably in phenomenally good shape.
Okay. Yeah.
It was fascinating. Every single person there, it seemed, had stumbled upon the same secret, which is that in order to live a really good, well-balanced life where you do great work, where you have success professionally, many of these people were family people as well, you needed to keep your body strong, healthy, resilient, but there was such a thing as too much.
Yeah. Yep.
It was fascinating when you look around that.
So we've talked about like too much. Is there like a minimum, either a daily or a weekly minimum of fitness activity or regimen that you stick with?
So this goes into my next book, which is called Unhinged Habits. I don't think I've ever actually said the name publicly until now.
Okay.
But that's coming out January 26th.
Awesome. Congratulations.
That book talks about the importance of actually living your life in season. So I push back, and this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers in the fitness industry, against the idea of consistency above all else.
Okay.
I think that the case for transformative growth trying to get 1% better every single day is actually false. I think it's too mechanical. I think it's too mathematical. I don't think it's very human. I think that consistency is a great way for ensuring you don't move backwards. I think that we need periods of obsession and focus in order to move forwards. And so my philosophy is you actually flank periods of obsession on either side with consistency.
Okay. Yep.
Based off of what your focus is on whatever you want to grow on. And so I look at my life as a triangle of money, health, relationships.
Okay.
And the reason that I bring this up is for a season, and the seasons could be anywhere from a week long to 8 months long.
Okay.
Usually they're somewhere around kind of 12 to 16 weeks. But for a season, I have a seasonal focus. Some aspect of my being that I'm trying to transformatively improve if I'm in season on that thing. There are times like now with a new young kid where like I'm not trying to transform anything. But the reason that I bring this up, Brian, is if I'm in a season on fitness, I'm pushing way harder on that aspect of my life.
Okay.
Trying to reset my homeostatic set point to a higher level of functioning.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What I'm constantly trying to do is make my previous ceilings my new floors.
Okay.
Because I found that betterment, that growth is actually not this kind of linear or exponential curve. Instead, it's this almost leapfrog pattern.
Yeah.
Where we're almost like jumping over time, right? And you go up and then you go down a little bit, but your new normal is higher.
That's right. That's right.
And that's a matter of physiology and self-identity and also embedded habits. It's all the things. And that's the case for fitness. That's also the case for business. That's also the case for the relationships that you have in your life. I talk about adult friendship a lot in the next book, for example.
Okay.
To answer your question now with that context, it changes depending on what season I'm in.
Okay.
If I'm in a season where I'm really focused on fitness, I'm training 5-6 times a week.
Okay.
I'm making sure I'm sleeping well. I'm paying way more attention to the food I'm eating. I've never been a guy to measure my food, probably to my detriment, but it just ain't me. Like I wear a Casio watch. Like I don't measure stuff, but other people do. And I get that I would probably be better if I did, but I'm just not willing to do it. But I definitely pay a lot more attention to what I eat. I make sure I'm sleeping good. And then I'm in the gym on a progressive, well-structured program for a minimum of 3 months. Okay.
Okay. That's when you're that's when you're in the season of focused on fitness.
That's like I'm resetting my body's normal level of functioning to a higher level.
Got it. Got it.
Most of the time though, like now, I'm not. And so what I'm doing now is 3 to 5 times a week. I try to do no less than 3.
Okay.
I've been doing F45, some like I did CrossFit for a couple years. I loved it. The timing stopped working out. F45 is around the corner and more convenient. And so I go there.
Sure.
Some full body in and out workout that's pretty quick that I can get to, minimum of 3 times a week. And then once a week, I do some sort of zone 2 cardio where I'm doing either a 5 to 7 kilometer jog or my dad and I will get on our bikes and do like a 25, 30 kilometer ride. And then I'm on my bike. Like I commute, like I'm on my bike 6 to 8 times a day for 5 to 15 minutes at a time, just getting to places.
Okay. Yep.
Basically every day. So that's my like normal.
So even when you're in the seasons of life when you're not focused on fitness, you're still getting into the gym minimum 3 times a week. You're still riding your bike 8 to 10 times a day, just moving around life in general.
It's just designing. I mean, I just decided a number of years ago that I never wanted to work more than a 15-minute bike ride from home.
Okay.
We gave my second, I mean, I guess we've given it to him now. I don't officially know when that happened, but we gave our second car to my brother-in-law.
Okay.
And I bought a bike. I bought like a nice bike. It's like a hybrid, but like it's like a nice hybrid bike. And it's just so much easier to get to places on bikes, man. So ride my kid to school, take my other kid to daycare.
Yep.
I'm going to visit a friend downtown today. I'll ride my bike to the subway. I'll jump on the subway. Like today will be I think about it like this. Today will be a light day on a bicycle.
Okay.
And I'll be on a bike 4 times for anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes at a time. I'll call it 45 minutes of, like, I'm not huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
But add that up over the course of a 8-month season, because we're in Canada, I'm not riding my bike. Well, to be honest, I leave in the winters and go to Mexico, but add that up with like an 8-month season. Like, I don't do public math, but you're talking 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week. I'm not even counting the weekends.
Okay.
You're talking over the course of 10 years, like 30 plus days of continual exercise. That's the kind of shit that leads to longevity.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's the in-between habits. I don't need to tell you that. How can you design your life to optimize for those is what I'm always thinking about.
Yep. So I wrote a book. It came out last year called 1 Minute Fitness. And
hell yeah. Okay.
And I talk about, that's like the second chapter is move every hour. And that's the goal, but it is 30 ways of how you can move every hour, because
cool.
Yes, working out 3 times a week, with high intensity training or, lifting weights or whatever, that is important and it is necessary. But if you spend 24 hours a day just sitting in front of a computer or a TV or on the couch or in bed, all that working out isn't going to help.
Yeah.
You need to get out and move, whether it's on a bike or jog or walk or whatever. We got to get up and start moving.
I love that. Have you ever come across, her name's Dr. Gloria Mark. Have you ever come across her work on attention span and focus?
No, I have not.
Oh, she's wonderful. Send me your address afterwards. I'll send you a copy of her book. We share the same agent who put me onto her originally. So she actually moved now, but she headed up the informatics department at the University of California. And her area of focus specifically was on attention span with technology and how we maintain our attention span and focus. So how, you hear a lot of people talk about like task switching and how it takes like 20 minutes once you switch from one task.
Yes.
So that's all of her research. That all came from.
So I'm very familiar with that because it takes me 20 minutes.
It's wild. It's wild. And the idea is we have mental schemas for everything that we do. Our brain basically is blueprints for everything that we do. And some are complicated. Some are relatively simple. But the point is every time we switch from one task to another task, we pull up a different blueprint and that becomes taxing over time. At the end of the day, when you've got that kind of brain fog, it's not actually a result of working harder. It's a result of working worse. Brain fog is more a result of actually switching between too many things over the course of a day, not actually working hard consistently on one thing. And she makes a strong argument for something that she calls cognitive snacks. And I love that. And so this is in my next book where I kind of expanded on her research and talked about a bunch of different categories of cognitive snacks because different humans are different.
I'm very excited about what this is going to say.
Oh, I love it. So some cognitive snacks could be like doing Sudoku puzzles.
Yep.
So, little puzzles. Some people like to sketch. Some people like to meditate. I can't do any of that. That ain't me. But I really love physical cognitive snacks.
Okay. Yeah.
And so in between calls, for example, I'll book 45-minute calls. Or I'll always book a 15-minute break in between calls or podcasts or whatever.
Yes.
If I have them.
Please. That's what I'm begging people to do.
I go outside and I move some dirt around.
Okay.
There's always like a landscaping job. I built like a pod outside my house here, but I'll mow a bit of the lawn. I'll rake some leaves. I'll weed the garden a little bit. Whatever there is, I'll move. We got like stone that I constantly need to move a bit. Like nothing that's going to physically knock me out. But the idea is a little bit of a cognitive snack. It used to be if you had a meeting back to back in an office, you at least had to walk from one conference room to the other conference room.
That's right. Yep.
We don't have that anymore. We just click on to another Zoom call, whatever. And so this argument is for building back in those breaks. My friend Alex works from home. He goes Alex and Books on, he's one of the big book influencers. He has this thing where he commutes to work even though he works from home.
Okay.
And so he goes for a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
before he starts work.
Perfect.
That's his commute to instead of going from his bedroom to his kitchen table, he goes from his bedroom to a long walk around the block to his kitchen table. We're kind of forced in a digital age to build that back in.
Yep.
And I think it's really important to do so.
Yeah, it's so awesome hearing you talk about this. In my book, I talk about my commute is taking my dog on a walk 15 minutes around. Beautiful. I'm going to do that before I start work. And I don't work out in the yard, but I tell in my clients, especially my clients who work from home who want to lose weight, one of the best things you can do is spend the last 5 minutes of every hour, maybe 10 minutes of every hour, go up and straightening your house. Like my kitchen is clean. It is always clean because multiple times throughout the day, I'm going to set a reminder. I'm going to set a timer on my watch, 5 to 10 minutes, how much time I've got. And I'm going to go straighten up the kitchen. Or I'm going to go straighten up my closet, or that's the just getting up and taking this little cognitive snack that you were talking about.
It's amazing how much of a difference it makes, just in how good I feel at the end of the day. And like, what's interesting is that Dr. Merck actually makes an argument for a lot of things that we would otherwise consider to be like time wasting tasks. Like, this is not even just physical stuff.
Yep.
Like killing zombies, like playing little games on your phone. She makes a strong argument for rote tasks that, what are those, like the Jewel game or whatever, on your phone, or even scrolling social media. But what she says is like, set a timer. Like, don't get lost.
Correct.
In it.
That.
So like my phone, like my phone is on black and white. It's on grayscale.
Okay.
Social media is unbelievably boring on grayscale. Like, no video is interesting in grayscale. That's by design.
Okay.
And so, if I have to be on there for work, then I will. But if I want to like be on there to enjoy it, that's fine. I set a timer and I turn it to color and I enjoy it. And I watch dumbass videos of Korean kids beatboxing, for 15 minutes or whatever it is. And then I flip it back to grayscale. And I'm not perfect at this, but what I've realized is that particularly when it comes to technology or addictive technology, I'm completely helpless left to my own devices.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's the addictive technology.
like I lose. Like I can't fight it. And so I've kind of had to do that. But I mean, she makes up even just like going in and emptying the dishwasher or washing some dishes, like something where you're doing an automatic task that's rote.
Yes. Yep.
And allowing your brain to be like kind of a little bit engaged, but you're almost recovering from your previous whatever activity.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because it's awesome to hear because I'm doing some of these things already, and now I have a book or two in a whole research area that supports my decisions.
Yeah, it's one of those things where so many people kind of the minute that they hear about it, they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. But they haven't really read about the research and stuff on it. It's like, oh no, there's real research on this. Like you can't multitask. Like, it's not a thing.
Correct.
Like, it doesn't exist. Like, multitasking, the perception of multitasking only exists when one of the tasks is automatic. And the easiest example of that is, imagine you're driving along a highway and it's mostly empty and you're talking to the person next to you. Like, you're doing two things, right? You're driving, you're talking to the person next to you. But then a car swerves in front of you. Well, what happens? You stop your conversation.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, the automatic task now requires your input.
Yeah.
You can't do two things at once.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I like to end all of my podcast episodes asking this question, and I don't really know how you're going to answer it, so I'm intrigued. It's if you could give our listeners only one action moving forward, what would you have them do?
One action about what? We're talking fitness.
One action, in terms of, either in terms of fitness, in terms of nutrition, in terms of, we've talked about managing your day and taking these breaks. Any of those. Just pick one.
Make it easy and convenient before you make it perfect.
Okay, make it easy and convenient before you make it perfect.
Yeah, like, there's this optimization culture that we live in right now that I think is largely I'll say that I think is almost entirely There's so much majoring in the minor. There's so much, the entire biohacking movement is completely ridiculous.
Yep.
It matters so little to so many people, but it is something to argue about. It hits all of the marketing checkpoints. You feel like you're missing something. You feel like others have figured out something that you haven't. It feels new and exciting. None of it really matters that much.
Correct.
You don't need to listen to a 3-hour podcast about microplastics. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Figure out how to nail the convenient and easy stuff for you first. Okay. What's the easiest way for you to get a little bit more movement?
Yeah. Yep. Perfect.
Can you tag it on top of something else? Like the reason that I told you I go to the F45 around the corner from my house and not CrossFit anymore is because I dropped my oldest son off at school on our bike at 9:15, and the F45 class starts at 9:30.
Yeah.
And it's right around the corner. So I drop him off and I stay on my bike and I go straight to that class and I finish that class and I'm back home at 10:20.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not the optimal thing for me to be doing, but it's the thing that I know I'm going to be able to continue doing because I got to drop him off at school. And so it's very convenient. It's very easy. That's my best suggestion. And then you can optimize later if you want.
Awesome. Well, how can our listeners best reach you? Email, phone, website, or do you want them to go grab your book, The Obvious Choice, right here? What's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, if you are any way involved in small business, The Obvious Choice is the book to pick up. I'm on Instagram. I'm at It's Coach Goodman. That's ITS Coach Goodman. Yep. It shows you how much of a late adopter to technology I am. I was so late to Instagram that I couldn't get my name. I couldn't get my last name. I couldn't even get Coach Goodman. I had to go It's Coach Goodman. And
that's pretty good.
It's not even proper grammar. Like there's no sky comma.
I love it.
Yeah. That's how you get me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, and I appreciate you sharing some insights with our people.
You got it, Brian. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.